fucking door. We're kicking it in, all right? Where'd the guy go? Hands up. Get your hands up. Get your hands up, man. Phones down. Put the phones down. Turn around. Turn around. I got him. You got him? Put your hands behind your back.
This is not a movie. This is not a conspiracy theory. This is my life and how the Omaha Police Department, the Douglas County Attorney's Office, and judges like Thomas Harmon have targeted, harassed, and tried to destroy me. I've been slapped with $1 million bond for charges that never stuck.
Bond is set at $1 million, 10%.
Prosecutors said David Mitchell also has a pending burglary case.
I've had my businesses raided based on lies.
But in the future reference, if you see 6 cops at the door, guns drawn, because we don't know what you guys have in here. You guys got back rooms and everything, and we don't know what you guys have.
I've been found not guilty, yet never left alone. I've been slammed to the ground by police as a 12-year-old kid for trying to help a friend breathe. And when I ran for office, they came at me even harder than ever.
The New York Times referring to Mitchell as an aspiring local politician, but that career is now in jeopardy.
What you're about to hear is documented in police reports, court transcripts, news articles, sworn testimony, leaked body cam footage, and phone calls.
Hi, Lisa. This is Detective Pearson with the Omaha Police Department.
Yes, I've obtained from an anonymous source video and audio recordings from what they put me through after the courts denied me access to obtain any footage, and it will be shown here in this video. This is how a local justice system can operate like a criminal enterprise, and how they can come for you next if nobody stands up to them.
Is your body camera running?
Here's a kick. The Nebraska Furniture Mart gives prices a long, low boot. Come see how much...
In Lincoln, Nebraska. Be sure to stay tuned next for the Prudential College...
What do you think he's going to do to us?
Heart to heart.
Jonathan!
The middle of the United States of America, Omaha and Lincoln, Nebraska is where this story begins. Let's get straight to it. June 2019, I opened a second gamers video game store location in Lincoln, Nebraska. One of my employees there was Phil Williams, a man who we hired who used to work at a local competing video game store known as Game Room.
My name is Philip Williams. I currently work at Gamers, the store manager, and I used to work at Game Room.
A few weeks before the Lincoln grand opening, I fired an employee named Anthony Rodriguez and his girlfriend Isabel Vong for suspected theft. They were angry. They went to Game Room, a competitor we were suing and had beef with, in Omaha, looking for a job, and spent the day with the employees there, including the manager, Jaden Newby. They were left alone behind the counter. Late that night, after smoking marijuana, they called the cops and told them that we had stolen consoles from them, and I put them up to it. This was coordinated in a conspiracy to take out not only the competition that was suing them, but for Anthony to get back at his previous employer, which is me. Anthony was arrested, then released on an OR bond.
I originally had recorded trying to make it a case, you know?
Yeah.
And the cops first time were like, so are you turning yourself in? I was like, no. I'm just trying to do this open, put a case out there so they have something.
Yeah.
And, I suppose they were a bit confused. But...
I truly, I hope everything works out in your favor. I don't see how it wouldn't in the end, but.
And soon became a cooperating witness for Detective Robert Wiley of the Omaha Police Department. Phil and several of my employees received emails from Detective Wiley, trying to convince them to lie about me or face arrest. That's intimidation. Plain and simple. On August 1st, 2019, armed officers from Omaha and Lincoln executed a signed warrant by Judge Thomas Harmon and raided my Lincoln store.
There's Lincoln on the back.
Get your hand out, too. Get your hand. All right, open the door. Open the door. Open the fucking door. We're kicking it in, all right? Where'd the guy go? Get your hands up. Get your hands up, man. Put your phones down. Put the phones down. Turn around. Turn around. I got him. Oh, really? Cell phone? Business. You don't do much good now. Is your body camera on it? Correct. I'll probably have you. I gotta interview these two employees unless you want to real quick.
Just the one basically just said he's just an employee, had no clue what's going on.
Anything about the thefts?
No.
Well, I'm Michael O'Brien. I'm the store manager here at Gamers on 124th and West Center Road. The day of the raid, I came in here business as usual at 10 o'clock. To my surprise, there was already a camera crew in here. Only one guy, actually, not a whole crew. But he was talking to Dave about a story that they were going to do about him opening up a Lincoln location. It was actually going to be a positive one. Well, while I got in here, I did my normal stuff, opened the doors, undid the locks, put the cash in the drawer, all that. And then Dave all of a sudden gets a phone call and starts going, what are you talking about? What are you talking about? All my employees are in handcuffs. And that's how we knew that stuff was going down.
They said they were looking for approximately $60,000 in missing inventory. The exact amount we were actually suing the game room for in our civil lawsuit.
Okay, but you have one of everything, right? You don't have 4 Xbox 360s.
I have one of each.
Okay.
Yeah.
Would it be weird for people to have more than one system themselves?
Well, it depends on the number.
During that raid, one of the officers pulled aside one of my employees and started asking questions that made no sense to anyone who actually knows how game collecting or resale works. He asked, would a real game collector really have more than one of the same console? The implication was clear. He was trying to paint my entire inventory as somehow suspicious, as if owning multiple of the same system wasn't completely normal in the collector and resale world. The truth is, a huge portion of the inventory that the second store had came directly from a longtime collector by the name of Sanchez, and the rest came from our own existing store location. We buy, we sell, we trade in large volumes. That's the business model. But instead of listening, instead of understanding, these officers used intimidation tactics against my employees, trying to manufacture a crime where none existed. It was never about facts. It was about pushing a false narrative they had already decided on before they walked into that door.
Me and my fiance, we've had 2 of the same Xbox Ones. I mean, you're up into the 10s and the 15s. That's kind of weird.
Okay. You know? So it wouldn't be out of the ordinary to have a couple.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So here's the reason we're here is we have reason to believe that there is approximately 100 stolen gaming systems here in this business.
Really?
Correct. So that's why we got a search warrant. That's why we're searching the business.
Yeah, okay.
We have serial numbers to match everything up. So that's the position that we're in now.
Yeah.
So, with that being said, due to the fact that you're working here, or not saying working right now because you aren't really working per se, but you were at the business at the time the search warrant was executed, you are going to be detained until the search warrant is executed or until the lead detective, in this case, says, no, I don't need you at all, and then he'll kick you loose.
Okay.
There's no reason to believe that you are involved in any sort of thefts, anything on his end. You're probably not 99.9% not going to jail today for anything.
Okay.
But that's where we're at right now.
Yeah, I'm totally able to cooperate with you,
Okay.
sir. I've never had any issue with the police, so...
But in the future reference, if you see
if I see a search
6
warrant,
cops at the door,
yeah.
guns drawn, because we don't know what you guys have in here.
No, yeah, I
You
totally
guys got
understand.
back rooms and everything, and
Yeah.
we don't know what you guys have.
I don't
so,
want to put you guys in danger, and I totally should have. I should have ran to the door sooner than I should have. I didn't see one since I've been here. I've only been here for about 15 minutes.
I'll take him out if you guys want to search in here.
Who arrested Phil? Any of you?
No. was gonna ask him to get it back because he had nothing.
What made that raid even more disturbing was seeing Anthony, the same employee we had fired for suspected theft, inside my store, assisting the police while they searched. Think about it. Think about that just for a second. How often does law enforcement invite a suspected burglar to help with a raid? How often do they give someone like that full range inside of the business they once worked at, pointing out inventory and talking to officers as if he were part of their team? It was outrageous and it was telling. The Omaha Police Department didn't just rely on Anthony's word to justify that warrant. They gave him front row seat and a role in that raid itself. That's not normal procedure. That's not justice. That's collusion.
He's got like a bag. He's got a. Just so let's get out of here.
Yeah, no problem.
What's that?
You checked all these things?
This is one of them.
Yeah, it should be a 500 gigabyte.
I remember typing that in for sure several times.
To make matters worse, Anthony just wasn't standing by. He was walking around freely around the store, picking up consoles, handling inventory, and looking through shelves, all while officers barely even paid attention to him. Think about that. A man accused of stealing from my business was given free range during a police raid, completely unsupervised, no chain of custody, no oversight, no accountability. If this raid was really about fighting evidence, why would the police allow their so-called witness to roam around my store as if it was his? The answer is simple. Because the raid was never about the truth. It was about building a case on me, no matter how sloppy or improper the process was.
So Xbox One S. Serial number starts 328.
They grabbed inventory, flipped through our point of sale system, and arrested Phil on a theft charge, then released him on an OR bond a few days later.
Just do me a favor, just don't set anything on this counter for now, or don't set anything right there either, because those have been checked. The stuff on the counter's been checked. I don't think the stuff over there has. If you just want to leave stuff where it is, just so we know we don't miss things.
So Xbox One 108-708.
Aaron, Xbox One, ending in 347.
5148.
Ben, are you a member of Gamers? If you're a member, it saves you a whopping 90 cents when you buy certain games.
Yeah, he got caught in Omaha doing a burglary for this guy. So basically, Rob was able to get him to flip and come over and be like.
So he spent time in jail for that burglary, but then he flipped on these guys.
I think, yeah, or he got a guilty conscience and went and said, "Hey, they got him for like theft by receiving over like $5,000." That was pretty small.
And it didn't stop with Anthony. His girlfriend Isabel, who we had also fired for suspected theft, casually walked into my store during that raid and began helping with that search as well. Imagine that. Not only was a fired employee accused of stealing allowed to roam free during a raid, but now his girlfriend was too. They were officers. They weren't investigators, yet they were given full access to my business while police stood by and let it happen. What kind of legitimate investigations allow the very people tied to the alleged theft to participate in the raid itself? The answer is none. This wasn't a real investigation. This was a setup. They found 3 consoles that Anthony admitted to selling to us, not hundreds of consoles. And yet, the raid footage hit the news like it proved if I was a thief. The corruption didn't end with the raid. Detective Robert Wiley outright lied in his affidavit of criminal complaint to justify charges against me. In that affidavit, Wiley claimed there were Facebook messages between me and my store manager Phil, supposedly discussing the false thefts at Game Room. That was a complete fabrication. The truth is, one of those messages happened when Phil was working at Game Room. We were on the phone, and the Facebook call disconnected when he stepped outside and lost Wi-Fi. He then sent me a message saying, "taking out the trash." He misspelled the word trash, but Wiley twisted that innocent message into something it wasn't, claiming it actually meant Phil was taking out trays of games. This was not a mistake. This was a deliberate lie to create a false narrative to convince a judge there was enough evidence of theft where none existed. It was one more example of how the Omaha Police Department, instead of investigating the truth, bent reality to fit their agenda.
Now the owner of Gamers is accused of stealing from the game room so he could sell the items at his own business.
David Mitchell is booked on a felony burglary charge on Monday for allegedly conspiring to steal from a competing gaming business. In a handful of incidents in June and July, about $50,000 worth of consoles and expensive games were stolen from the shelves at the game room at 72nd and Dodge. Former Gamers employee Anthony Rodriguez told police that Mitchell had him steal from the game room to sell in their Lincoln store. Current Gamers employee Philip Williams also arrested in the thefts. Prosecutors say Mitchell's claim doesn't add up.
Well, obviously we think that there's information or evidence that shows otherwise. Well, certainly we wouldn't file the case unless we felt that there was the evidence showed that the allegations were true.
Mitchell is still being housed here at the Douglas County Jail. He will likely have his bond set either Tuesday or Wednesday.
I wasn't hiding. I went to the station to follow up on an internal affairs complaint about Detective Wiley's conduct. For 2 days, I sat in custody. The prosecutor claimed there was video proving I stole, when there was none that proved what they claimed. They asked for a $150,000 bond. My attorney fought back, and we got it down to $50,000. I bonded out, but the damage was done. The news story had my name all over it. For months on end, Detective Robert Wiley and the prosecutors told the court, told my attorneys, and told the news media that they had video footage of me and Phil stealing games at Game Room. They repeated that lie so many times it became their cornerstone piece of evidence. My attorneys filed motion after motion demanding to see this supposed video footage. And after months of stalling, when we finally received it, the truth was shocking. The video footage showed nothing more than Phil walking into Game Room with a Target bag full of food back when he actually worked there. That was it. There was no theft, no crime, just an employee showing up to work with his lunch in hand. To make matters even worse, the prosecutors padded the discovery folder by placing that exact same video in there 3 separate times to try and make it seem like if there were more than it really was. They lied to us. They lied to the courts, and they lied to the public because they told the news media that video footage existed when in reality it never did. This is how they manipulated the justice system and destroyed my name with fabricated claims that collapsed the moment anyone actually looked at the so-called evidence. People who had supported me subtly treated me like a criminal. I kept running for city council because I wasn't going to let them silence me. I didn't stop giving back. I bought clothes for foster kids. I helped the homeless. I taught young people how to start businesses. And yet, in Nebraska, it felt like the simple fact of being a black and successful business owner was only enough for people to believe the worst. News teams gleefully recycled the police narrative, even when my lawyers supplied them with serial number logs and point of sales data showing that the inventory never existed in our system. Detective Wiley even called the point of sales creator, trying to get him to say that I somehow hacked the system. The creator told him that it was impossible. Riley refused to listen to the creator's statements. That's not police work. That's a vendetta.
Well, once the store was busted in by the cops and all that, while I was here, me and Dave and the camera guy were talking about what could possibly be going down. And through looking at the footage, we saw Anthony Rodriguez walk into the building with the police and begin to point out stuff. At that moment, we both were like, me and Dave were like, is that Anthony? Oh my God, that's Anthony. What is he doing there? And I had suddenly recalled that he had been in here recently selling off a couple of Game Boy Advance games. So David asked me if Anthony had been in here anytime recently. And I said, yeah, he was in here just the other day. And another coworker of mine, Jagger, also said that he hit him up trying to sell off a Game Boy Advance. So then Dave told me that I should go into the computer, check if Anthony had sold us anything over the last 2 weeks, because legally we have to hold stuff in the back for 2 weeks. And it turns out he had come in just about every other day selling us merchandise, whether it was just a game, a console, a controller, or something. He was in here every other day. And so once I went into the back and located all of the bags, we ended up filling up a whole tote worth of items. Well, while everything was going down, I felt like Gamers was getting such a bad rap for really no reason. I have my complete trust in Dave because he's not a person to throw away his wife, 2 kids, and growing business just to do some petty theft from another store. So in my heart, I knew that something was wrong and nothing was connecting because some of the pieces were missing. And I was just worried that maybe some of those pieces might show me who Dave might have been. But it turns out that that didn't happen.
The corruption only became more obvious when Anthony's own behavior came to light. After he was fired, he didn't just walk away. He went to Game Room, conspired with them to shut my business down. He even sold us back items he himself had stolen from us back when he used to work for Gamers. And he sold us 3 items that the store manager at Game Room, Jaden Newby, had personally allowed him to take when he went there that night to conspire against me. Anthony's campaign against me didn't just stop there. He tagged our Gamers work vehicle with racial slurs. He tried to set fire to my brand new Gamers van. He sent me anti-Semitic videos because I was Jewish.
On, you stupid fuck. I hope you burn in hell just like the rest of the 6 million motherfuckers like you did, asshole.
He chased me and Phil in his vehicle after a court hearing.
Watch the road.
Yeah, bye. Mr. Rodriguez following us, stalking us. License plate number WDM583. He sent me direct threats about my own mother, and at one point he even admitted to lying on me. My attorneys gathered every single piece of this evidence: the vandalism, the threats, the racist and the anti-Semitic behavior, the admissions of dishonesty, and submitted it all to Prosecutor Gary Olson and the Douglas County Attorney Don Kleine. But instead of acting on it, instead of protecting me and my employees, they ignored it completely and kept pursuing their false charges against me. To make matters even worse, while my burglary case was pending, Anthony himself was charged with multiple felony counts, yet every single time the county attorney's office dropped his charges over and over again in exchange for him to continue to lie about me and Phil. This wasn't justice. This was a deal with the devil. They sacrificed the truth and they sacrificed integrity just to keep their false case against me.
My name is Jagger Jones. I've been a Gamers employee for close to about a year now. I'm 18 years of age. My mom was scared for me, but I told her everything was going to be fine because I knew we had nothing to do with it. I just want to see our name cleared here at Gamers because this has just been a real big blow to us, and how the community's seen us, because now they think that we hire thieves and just awful people here, especially with what they did with Phil. Phil's a great guy, hardest worker I know, and his name's just been slandered by all of this.
I'm an employee at the Westroads Mall location, Gamers, store manager. When I found out about the raid, I immediately reached out to Dave to try and figure out what was going on, because I saw a lot of people speculating online. I immediately kind of felt like it was fabricated. I had heard that Anthony, somebody I had worked with at the store, had something to do with it, and from the articles that I was reading, they were insinuating that it was some sort of setup, so I kind of reached out immediately just so that he knew if anybody needed to kind of testify on his behalf, that that type of shadiness wasn't going on at the store, especially because I was an employee at the time that they're trying to claim those things happened. I wanted to make sure that Dave kind of knew that he had that type of support and that those people couldn't say those lies. Anthony personally tried to sell me what I believe were stolen items. I wanted some DS games just because I have a 4-year-old son, and I was just trying to get him started on video games that weren't violent. And he had some Pokemon games, but he kind of got really weird about it and just kept texting me, and I'm a busy person, so none of the times that he could meet up would work. So eventually I told him, I'll hit you up when I can meet up with you, and I just didn't do it. And he would text like once or twice a week until eventually I just like blocked his number because it became really obnoxious. I didn't really want the video games that bad. It was just kind of like, oh, that'd be nice to get for my son. But he seemed really specific about making sure that I had those games. I do remember he came in to the store specifically and asked me when I worked. And it was weird because I remember I spoke to another coworker, Jagger, and he said that he did the same thing to him. He wanted to make sure that he was selling us stuff as soon as like we switched shifts, and he wouldn't be coming in to make it look weird.
Black Friday 2019, I opened a third store at Westroads Mall. Then in 2020, George Floyd was murdered. Protests exploded nationwide. In Omaha, I marched and I spoke. One of the protests I helped lead drew more than 2,000 live viewers. I pushed to hold accountability, to call out racist business owners, and to call out prosecutors who wouldn't prosecute police officers. During that unrest, James Juju Scurlock was shot and killed by Jake Gardner in the Old Market. That death lit a fire in our city. I helped organize protests and call for justice. I even led a protest outside of a restaurant after its owner posted racist comments online. I protested outside of County Attorney Don Kleine's home until he, on camera, admitted he needed to look at one of the cases his office had promoted against me.
All right.
You heard of me before?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So and I think that you're the Gamers.
Yes,
case?
I'm the Gamers owner.
Okay.
So
yeah, because I've heard that case. I've heard about issues with that case.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
The response? More retaliation. I was arrested at a Tuesday city council meeting by the Omaha Police Department's gang unit. They had guns, and the arrest happened in front of cameras. Before the meeting, the cops tipped off local news that I'd be arrested that day. The charge? A sexual assault claim from a woman, Taria Cooper. An accusation that later fell apart at trial.
In Bellevue, victims' IQ ranges between 55 and 66.
Courts have often ruled those with an IQ around 70 aren't competent to understand right from wrong and to go to trial. This victim's IQ is less than that.
Warning, warning, bullshit alert.
We could do Dave and Buster's because I was thinking before getting my nails done, getting my toes done, but then I was like, that's way too much money. I don't want to be making her pay a lot. And then plus you have to make an appointment and all that other stuff too.
Okay. So you're thinking Dave and Buster's?
Yes.
Okay, any other plans for your birthday?
I'm gonna ask my fiance if he could go to Dave and Buster's.
Warning, warning, bullshit alert.
She doesn't present like that. If you meet her, I've had so many people tell me she doesn't seem like she has an intellectual disability.
As if the bogus burglary case wasn't enough, the Omaha Police Department and the county attorney's office went even further, weaponizing false sexual assault allegations to destroy me and my political campaign. At first, I was charged with a single count of sexual assault, but when I refused to take a plea agreement, they subtly added an additional count right before trial. This was nothing more than retaliation because I refused to fold. The truth is simple. Taria Cooper reached out to me through her friend Deja on Facebook because she was angry that her fiance had cheated on her. She wanted to get back at him, and she admitted this on the stand. We met. We had consensual sex in the hotel in Sarpy County, and afterward, her fiance found out. He called me directly and screamed at me. Instead of taking accountability for her choices, Taria claimed that what happened in that hotel was assault. But the Sarpy County Police Department investigated and found that her story had no weight. It didn't add up. The text messages told the truth. Taria was begging me to meet her again, begging to have sex with me again. There was no crime, only regret. When Sarpy County refused to pursue the case, the Omaha Police Department and Don Kleine prosecutors stepped in. They were already angry that I wouldn't take a plea deal on the burglary case and furious about how outspoken I had been against the racism in Omaha, especially in the county attorney's office. So they conspired with Taria to make up something even worse, that I had supposedly assaulted her 6 years prior before her making that report, when she was a minor in foster care. There was just one problem. I didn't even know her back then. I had never met her back then, but that didn't even matter to them. This wasn't about justice. This was about destroying my reputation, destroying my campaign, and silencing me once and for all. Judge Thomas Harmon, the same exact judge who signed that raid warrant, set my bond at $1 million for the alleged sexual assault. That number wasn't about risk. It was about keeping me caged. That bond was higher than bonds set for notorious violent offenders right here in Nebraska, including serial killer Nico Jenkins. I sat in county, in custody for 50 days, watched the world from behind a closed holding cell before my bond was finally reduced to $300,000 by a district court judge, and I eventually bonded out. The message was clear: punishment before conviction. After I bonded out, prosecutors Katie Kilcoyne and Dara Dallahunt, working under County Attorney Don Kleine, pushed hard. They reached out to Sarpy County to reopen the hotel claims, hoping to get me put back in custody. Taria shifted her story multiple times, first claiming I assaulted her in a hotel, then later changing that claims about foster care memories I couldn't have even known about. We beat those charges at trial. After a week-long trial, the all-white jury returned a not guilty verdict on both counts. The prosecution had tried for mistrials 3 times. They tried to smear witnesses. They tried to manufacture mistrust in the jury. Why? Because trial by media was easier than proving anything in court. The only local station that ran a meaningful, corrective story about my acquittal was the Omaha World Herald. Most TV media that smeared me stayed away when the verdict came in. That's not journalism, that's complicity. After dragging me through the mud for more than 3 years, the so-called burglary case was dismissed just 2 weeks before trial. By that same time, Gary Olson, the original prosecutor on my case, had left Douglas County and became the head county attorney of York, Nebraska. But before it was dismissed, Don Kleine brought in federal prosecutor Patrick McKee to take me out. McGee came in full of threats, telling my attorneys that he was going to make trial a circus, bragging about how he prosecuted MS-13 gang members on a federal level and promising that he will secure a conviction against me. This was intimidation, plain and simple. Yet, even after all that posturing, the case collapsed. The burglary charge was dismissed, but McGee was too much of a coward to do it under his own name. Instead, he dismissed it under Gary Olson's name with a forged signature, even though Gary Olson had been long gone from that office. That's how desperate and dishonest they were. For over 3 years, they clung on to that bogus charge, denying me my constitutional right to a speedy trial, just to keep me under their thumb and smear my name in public eye. Let's give you guys a rundown of the entire timeline. 2019, I was charged with burglary. 2020, I was charged with sexual assault. 2021, I was charged with an additional count of sexual assault after refusing to take a plea deal. 2021, I was acquitted of both counts of sexual assault by an all-white jury. 2023, the burglary case was dismissed after 3 years. 3 years of false accusations and delay. After their criminal claims failed, I still had to fight for my name and for accountability. In August 2023, my attorney, Michael Cannon, filed a 42 U.S.C. 1983 lawsuit against the Douglas County Attorney's Office, the Omaha Police Department, Don Kleine himself, multiple prosecutors, and officers alleging civil rights violations and civil conspiracy to target me. That federal complaint set out for years of raids, arrests, and alleged abuses. The defendants moved to dismiss. In April of 2023, U.S. District Court Judge Brian Busher granted the motion to dismiss, finding that many of my claims was barred by sovereign immunity or by qualified immunity that shields prosecutors and police officers. I appealed. In February 2025, the 8th Circuit Court of Appeals affirmed the dismissals. That decision and the immunity doctrine it rests on are the reason why many officials can act with impunity. You can file a lawsuit and the system would turn on itself and protect its own. The case and its dismissal are public record, and they show exactly how the legal shield of immunity allows alleged official misconduct to go unanswered. This is my life. I'm not special. This can happen to anyone who stands up. The system that protects itself is the real enemy. The police, the prosecutors, and the judges who hide behind immunity. They only need time and money and institutions that cover for them. Here's what I want from you. Share this video. Put the document in people's hands. Make it impossible for the local press to ignore what they helped build. Contact the Nebraska Attorney General's office and ask for an independent review into specific allegations or coordinated misconduct. Vote Don Kleine out of office. He's running again. Hold these prosecutors accountable in these elections. Support independent oversight. Citizen review boards with subpoena power, body cam transparency, and civilian-led audits of search warrant practices. I tell you this not because I want sympathy. I tell you this because silence is what lets them keep doing it. And if you were in my shoes, what would you do? If you care about justice, don't walk away.